What is up, tennis fanatics and lovers of primetime drama? Welcome back to Courtside Classic. It's your girl Mira, and let me tell you, my jaw is still practically glued to the floor after what I just witnessed. We all love a juicy underdog story, right? But what went down yesterday wasn't just a minor upset. It was a straight-up hijacking of a hometown party. Grab your popcorn, secure your edges, and get comfortable, because today we are breaking down the exact moment a rising star walked into the lion's den and walked out a certified legend. What if I told you a young 20-year-old phenom stepped onto the court as a massive underdog and completely flipped the script on everyone? Not just surprised a few people, but completely tore up the expectations and rewrote the headlines. That's exactly what happened when Filipina sensation Alex Eala made her highly anticipated debut at the Linz Open in Austria. Now, I want you to really imagine the scene with me. Picture a packed stadium in Upper Austria, the energy in the air absolutely buzzing. Fans are filling the stands, waving and cheering at the top of their lungs, all fully behind one player. And that player was Julia Grabher. She was the local favorite, the home country hero, the one everyone bought tickets to see, and let's be brutally honest here, the one everyone fully expected to win. From the very second Grabher walked onto the court, the crowd completely erupted. Every single step she took was met with thunderous applause. Every warm-up shot, every movement, it all felt like the stage was set perfectly, practically gift-wrapped for her victory. And then, on the other side of the net, we have Alex Eala, a young player thousands of miles away from home, making history just by stepping on the court as the first player from her country to ever compete in the main draw of this tournament. She was less experienced on this specific stage, far less expected to take the crown, but honey, she was absolutely not less determined. Alex didn't walk in with the deafening noise of a home crowd behind her. She walked in with something far more dangerous, pure, unshakable belief. As the match began, all eyes were locked on the first few points, because in tennis, if you know the game, you know those opening moments tell you everything. They reveal the hidden nerves, the fragile confidence, the rhythm, and sometimes they write the ending before the story even unfolds. And that's exactly where things started to feel completely different. Eala's first serve? Sharp, confident, absolutely no hesitation. Her movement across the court was light, quick, and aggressively controlled. There was no sign of nerves, zero sign of the pressure getting to her. In fact, if you had just turned on your TV and didn't know the context, you would have thought Alex Eala was the one playing in her own backyard. Point after point, she held her ground. She returned shots with lethal precision. She chased down balls that seemed physically unreachable. And most importantly, she played with a chilling calmness that did not match her underdog label at all. Now, the Austrian crowd at first stayed incredibly loud. They cheered for Grabher, fully expecting her to take control at any second. But guess what? That moment never came. Instead, something wild and totally unexpected began to happen. Eala started matching Grabher's intensity. Then she started pushing her. Then she was flat out challenging her in ways no one in that arena had prepared for. The rallies stretched longer. The points became painfully intense. And slowly, the noise in the stadium began to shift from confident, roaring cheers to nervous, curious murmurs. Because now, these fans weren't just watching a routine opening round match anymore. They were watching a street fight. A fearless young player standing toe-to-toe with a home favorite, flat out refusing to back down. There was this one moment, subtle but so incredibly powerful, when the camera caught Alex's expression between points. No panic, no doubt, just pure, locked-in, deadly focus. And that's when it hit everyone watching, myself included. This wasn't going to be a walk in the park for Julia Grabher. This match wasn't going to follow the script, because Alex Eala hadn't traveled all the way to Austria just to participate. She came to conquer. Let me drop some reality on you for a second. Playing against a local favorite is never, ever easy. But playing against one in her actual home country? That is a completely different monster, because it's not just you versus the girl across the net. It's you versus the noise, the hostile energy, and the heavy expectations of an entire arena. From the very first serve, every cheer in that stadium had a clear direction, and trust me, it wasn't toward Alex. Every time Grabher won a point, the crowd exploded. But when Eala made a mistake, you could hear that collective sigh of relief from the crowd, that harsh reminder that you are not the favorite here. For a lot of players, that kind of toxic environment can be suffocating. It can break your focus, plant seeds of doubt, and completely eat away at your confidence. But Alex Eala, she is built entirely differently. Instead of letting the pressure shake her, she absorbed it. She stayed composed, almost like she had put up an invisible wall, blocking out the thousands of people rooting against her. Each rally became a mental battlefield. And guys, we need to talk about the actual stats of this absolute war, because the scoreboard alone does not tell the full story. This match dragged out for an exhausting 1 hour and 42 minutes of grueling tennis. In the first set, Grabher was desperately trying to break Eala's serve. She had breakpoint opportunities in 3 of Alex's service games. And let me tell you about the 7th game of that first set, because it was pure cinematic poetry. They battled through 7 deuces. Let me repeat that. 7 deuces in a single game. I get stressed out waiting in line for a latte for more than 2 minutes, and here is this 20-year-old girl fighting for her tournament life on every single point, refusing to blink. Grabher threw everything but the kitchen sink at her, but Alex held firm. She didn't rush, she didn't panic, she didn't try to force silly winners too early. Instead, she played incredibly smart, calculated tennis. She started reading Grabher's game like a book, anticipating her shots, and moving into position before the ball even crossed the net. Her footwork was a masterclass. Light steps, quick adjustments, always balanced. And then, in the 10th game, the ultimate breakthrough. Alex ripped a stunning cross-court forehand to create a chance, and when Grabher sent the ball wide, the first set was over. 6-4, Eala. Boom. The crowd was absolutely stunned. When you are expected to win and you drop the first set at home, the pressure becomes suffocating. Every lost point feels 10 times heavier. Grabher began to feel it, and Alex smelled blood in the water. Moving into the second set, Eala flipped the switch. Instead of just playing steady, she went aggressive. She stepped inside the baseline, took the ball earlier, and hit with massive depth and intent. She was pushing the Austrian back, forcing her into awkward positions, wide on the court, late on her shots, completely off balance. Eala snatched a break in the 4th game and took a commanding 3-1 lead. Now, Grabher is a fighter. Give credit where credit is due. She managed to claw 1 break back in the 7th game to cut the deficit to 4-3. For a split second, the home crowd woke up. They thought, okay, here comes the comeback. But Alex Eala basically looked at the crowd and said, oh, you thought? Not today. She responded immediately, and I mean immediately, breaking Grabher right back in the 8th game to lead 5-3. Her confidence was skyrocketing. You could see it in her body language, the way she walked back to the baseline. She wasn't just trying to survive the match anymore, she was commanding it. And that is a terrifying place for any opponent to be in, because once a player reaches that God-tier level of confidence, they become basically unstoppable. As the match reached its final moments, the tension in the building was thick enough to cut with a knife. You could feel it radiating through the screen. On one side, you had experience, home advantage, and the crushing weight of expectation on Julia Grabher's shoulders. On the other side, you had youth, extreme hunger, and the unshakable belief of Alex Eala, standing just a few points away from a historic upset. Alex stepped up to the line to serve for the match. The deafening noise of the stadium suddenly faded into a tense, breathless silence. She bounced the ball, focused, locked in. A clean, confident serve, a rally that felt like an eternity. Grabher fought desperately, setting up a dramatic final sequence, but then came a forehand error from the Austrian. Double match point for Eala. One more tense exchange, and Grabher sent the ball wide. Game, set, match. Just like that, the impossible was done. Alex Eala had defeated Julia Grabher 6-4, 6-3 right there at the Linz Open, in front of a home crowd that had spent the last 2 hours actively rooting against her. Let that sink in for a minute. A young Filipina player, miles away from home on her debut, had just completely dismantled a local favorite on her own turf. For a split second, reality seemed to pause. And then the reaction, a bizarre mix of absolute shock, quiet realization, and genuine respect, rippled through the stadium. Everyone sitting in those seats knew they had just witnessed something incredibly special. This wasn't just a surprising win, this was history. This was a statement. If you ask me, this is the exact kind of match that separates good players from future superstars. Anyone can win a match when the crowd loves them and the momentum is easy. But pulling off a straight sets victory when you are fighting 10 breakpoints, yeah, Grabher had 10 breakpoint chances and Alex saved 9 of them. That takes a special kind of DNA. It proves she has the mental fortitude of a veteran. For Alex, this is a defining moment she will carry for the rest of her career. For her fans watching from the Philippines at all hours of the night, it's a massive breakthrough that puts Philippine tennis right under the global spotlight. Moments like this inspire an entire generation of young athletes in Asia and beyond. They prove that no matter where you come from, if you have the talent, the discipline, and the absolute fearlessness to execute under pressure, you can step onto any court in the world and win. But here is the absolute best part of this entire story. This is not her peak, not even close. What Eala showed us in Austria wasn't a fluke or a lucky day. It was raw, undeniable, world-class potential. By the time that final point was played, she wasn't just advancing to the round of 16 to face former Grand Slam champ Jelena Ostapenko, she was putting the entire WTA Tour on notice. She told the world, I am here, I am capable, and I am not scared of anybody. The world is officially watching now. The media, the analysts, and her fellow players are all taking notes. Her journey is only going to get tougher from here. The opponents will get more dangerous, and the stakes will get infinitely higher. But if this match told us anything, it's that Eala thrives when the lights are the brightest. She doesn't shy away from the pressure, she eats it for breakfast. This is the story of a young player who isn't just chasing her dreams, she is aggressively building them, brick by brick. And the best part? We get a front row seat to watch it all unfold. All right, guys, that is all for today's breakdown. If you loved watching Eala make absolute history today, and you are as hyped as I am for her future, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. Drop a comment below and let me know, do you think Alex is destined for a Grand Slam title soon? I want to hear all your thoughts. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Courtside Classic and ring that notification bell so you never miss a single update on the biggest, juiciest stories in tennis. The rise of this young star is just getting started, and you'll want to be here for every single match. Until next time, keep your backhand sharp and your drama strictly on the court. Peace.